Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Nick Gray, and today I'm back with another smartphone camera test with the all-new Motorola Edge Plus 2022, which is the first flagship tier device within the smartphone family in about 2 years now, which is pretty exciting to see. As far as the specifications of the cameras on this device go, you're looking at the front-facing camera right now that's recording at 4K, and that's because it's a 60 megapixel sensor there, something that we typically don't see that often for selfie cameras. We do see high resolution sensors, but not often 4K video capture, which is nice to have. As far as the rear cameras go, you do actually get 3 on the back there, a 50 megapixel main sensor, 50 megapixel ultra wide, and then 2 megapixel depth sensor for capturing that depth information for portraits. As far as that main sensor goes, it can capture 8K video at 24 frames per second, though we're going to be showing off just 4K video at 30 FPS in this video. And then the ultra-wide camera is supposed to be able to capture 4K video, but unfortunately there's no option within the settings. Anytime that you switch to that ultra-wide camera, it forces you to bump things down to 1080p. So hopefully that's going to be updated in a future software update to this device. One other thing to note, there is no zoom camera on this device, or even the option to have a quick toggle to a 2x digital zoom anywhere within the camera app itself, which is somewhat disappointing, but you can pinch to zoom if you do want to zoom in on that main 50 megapixel sensor. So that's going to do it for the camera specs on the Moto Edge Plus 2022. But before we take a look at the photos and videos from this camera test, let's jump over to our sponsor for today's video.
If you haven't checked your calendar, spring is officially here. Now, if you're one of those people who loves spring cleaning but really don't want to put in all that work that's needed to clean up your home or your office, the sponsor for today's video can definitely help out with that. This here is the Yeedi Vac Station. It may look like just a regular old robot vacuum, but it's actually a 3-in-1 home cleaning solution with some incredible features. Not only will it vacuum your floors, but it'll also mop them as well. And that base station actually doubles as a charger and an automatic dustbin emptying station, so that you don't have to empty out the tiny dustbin inside of the robot vacuum every time that it finishes cleaning up your floors. The smart sensing technology in the Yeedi Vac ensures that your home and office are perfectly mapped out, which also means it knows exactly where your carpets are in order to avoid them when the mop attachment is being used. And of course, with the included app, you can schedule the Yeedi Vac to vacuum or mop certain days of the week or at a specific time, so that you don't even need to be around the house when it's cleaning up after you. The Yeedi Vac Station and mop typically goes for $499, but they're throwing in an extra coupon code and promo code over on Amazon right now that brings that final price point down to just $344.99, which is an incredible deal. For more details, make sure you check out the link in the video description below. I want to thank Yeedi for sponsoring this video, and now back to the camera test.
So one thing that I do want to point out with the cameras on the back of this device is that the ultra-wide camera, which I'm using to record right now from the back of the phone, doesn't actually allow for 4K video capture, which means what you're looking at right now, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, is 1080p video at only 30 frames per second. It actually doesn't even go up to 60 FPS. So when you're recording video with this device from the main camera, you can go all the way up to 8K video, and honestly it looks pretty good. But if you want to record 4K video from an ultra-wide camera, you are not going to be able to do that. Really not sure why Motorola decided to do that, since the sensor should be capable of that, but unfortunately it's not available on this device. And this here's a look at video captured with the selfie camera on the Moto Edge Plus 2022. The nice thing about this is that we are looking at 4K video at 30 FPS, which is, to my recollection, the first that we've seen from a Motorola device, flagship device or even mid-range device from them, but also one of the few flagship devices that actually has 4K video capture from the selfie camera. There are so many other Chinese manufacturers that are out there that are still pushing higher resolution selfie cameras but don't have 4K video capture up front. So nice to see it here. Even though this is recording at just 1080p, which should technically let in more light in situations like this, low light situations at night, because this is the ultra-wide camera, it is dramatically darker than what it would be than capturing with that main sensor on the back of the phone. And this here switching to that main sensor, upgraded to 4K video capture right here. Definitely a lot more light in this video clip when compared to the ultra-wide camera. Now, while it is nice to be able to capture 4K video from the selfie camera on the Moto Edge Plus 2022, I'm kind of disappointed that the night mode is not enabled for selfies. It does have a slightly longer exposure in low light situations like this, but you can't actually select the dedicated night mode in order to make the pictures a little bit brighter from the selfie camera. For this initial camera test with the Motorola Edge Plus 2022. Let me know what you think of the results in the comments below and whether or not you'd be using this device to capture your photos and videos on a day-to-day basis. If you want to see a camera comparison between this device and the Pixel 6 or the Galaxy S22 lineup, make sure you let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.